A common occurrence of a person's rights being violated is racial profiling. Police on several occasions have stopped and held me because of claimed suspicion. This is discrimination practiced by law enforcement, targeting individuals for suspicion of crime just off the basis of the individual's race, ethnicity, religion, or national origin. Although it was well known one of the hardest of any of a person's violations of a person's rights to prove. Have you heard of what happens in Arizona? I'm not talking about Vegas here, people. On April 23rd, 2010, Arizona Governor Jan Brewer signed into law SB 1070. It will require police officers in Arizona to ask people for their papers based only on some unidentified reasonable suspicion that they are in the country unlawfully, as reported by the ACLU. The Supreme Court upheld this in the court of law. After that, a dozen more were proposed and several were passed. This can be harmful to anyone that may seem like they were foreign born, i.e. African Americans, Latinos, Asian Americans. They want to send us all away instead of bringing the jobs back. I would like to note the recent George Zimmerman Trayvon Martin case, but like in most of these cases, there isn't enough information for me to say it can or can't be profiling. First Amendment violations are among the most common examples of injustices. We all got them. We may not know them, but a number of us let others infringe on them. Isn't that smart? Some of these are freedom of speech, employment discrimination, police brutality, and prisoner abuse. Thank God we live in America. Police misconduct and abuse, like in the Rodney King case. Mr. King, in this incident, did commit a crime, speeding and DUI, but the actions of the LAPD were inappropriate and excessive. The officers at the scene surrounded King and beat him with metal batons until he was unconscious. The officers justified their actions by claiming King was resisting arrest. Luckily for King, the incident was videotaped and then broadcast and seen worldwide. That resulted in officers facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon and excessive force. A King case study reported that the 4 officers were acquitted in their first trial by a mostly white jury, which led to subsequent race riots in LA and national outrage that resulted in a civil rights trial where 2 of the 4 officers were found guilty by a Supreme Court. Cases in which police, prison guards, and other law enforcement authorities have used excessive force or other tactics to violate victims' civil rights have increased 25% from 2001 to 2007. Over the previous 7 years, the Department of Justice says federal records show that the vast majority of police brutality cases referred by investigators are not prosecuted, as reported by Kevin Johnson of the USA Today. For long as I have lived, I have seen people mistreated or victimized just because they are different from others. I'm sure this will continue till the end of time. It's just human nature. Do you know your rights? Can you recognize when you or someone else is being harmed? In conclusion, I'm sure these injustices will continue, but we do have the right to live our own lives, so long as it doesn't break any laws or harm other people. So stand up for your rights. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for others. And rise for the American way. This was my presentation for Speech 101 on equal rights.